One of the most important things that people don't really consider in their lives is who they identify as. And when I say identify, I don't mean their name or even their job, but the kind of person that they are. And so in this video, I'm going to explain how that can make or break you. And I'm going to explain how you can use it to your advantage when you realize this. Over the years of seeing lots and lots of different clients, I always listen to the way people talk to me before I help them and after I help them. Because it's very nice in the future when people are talking about their problems in the past tense. If people are still talking about problems in the present tense, then they need to check themselves and actually realize that the problem is not there, unless of course it is, and then we need to do more work. But before all of this, people I've never met, people in general, people all over the world, identify as all sorts of things by accident, not realizing that it's actually detrimental. I mean, you hear people say, oh, I'm just the chubby one in the group, or I'm the fast food guy, or I'm the takeaway guy, or I'm the smoker, or I'm the drinker, and they shake their belly sometimes, say, well, it's all bought and paid for. They've kind of accepted and acknowledged who they are as this negative, unhealthy being, and they don't realize how dangerous that is. Other people like, oh, this is the sporty one, and they nod their head. You know, I'm the sporty one out of the group. Yeah, I'm the healthy one. I'm the salad guy, or I'm the runner. You know, to identify as these things, these are obviously healthy things, and these are the positive sides of identification. But I've had people that have come. I remember a lady came to me years ago, and she was a grandmother, and she said, "Oh, I'm known as the granny that smokes because there's two grannies. So we've got granny, and then the granny that smokes." And she identified as this, and she liked it because it was kind of funny, in a strange way. It was funny that the granny that smokes, but when you look deeper into it, there's nothing funny on any level about that. There's nothing funny that she smokes, and there's certainly nothing funny that any grandchild or grandchildren would refer to somebody as granny that smokes as if that's acceptable. But the issue is, when you identify as something, is you're ingraining it in your mind, and you're actually installing expectancy and belief to continue to be this person. If you say something like, oh, I'm having a bit of a nightmare at the moment, but things are going to change, this is great, you know, because this is acknowledging that perhaps some bad things are happening, but the future is going to be different. We're going to change these things. But with identification is sometimes you need to stop in your tracks, and you need to look at yourself in the mirror, and you need to identify who you really are. And not just that, but who you're becoming by not realizing who you really are. Because the further down that slope of negativity, the more difficult, not impossible, the more difficult it is to come back to who you actually were. You might get somebody that's really into exercising, reading books, progressing in life, and then all of a sudden something happens, maybe a breakup or a death, or it could be anything or nothing at all. All of a sudden, not reading so many books, not really bothered about educating, kind of lost the mojo for the things in life that they used to have before. And this is normal, but you have to check yourself. You know, I've got a good friend of mine, Aidan. He says every 6 months he looks back on his life and sort of has a sort of a good sort of analysis of how he's moved through the 6 months and where he is now. This is a great idea. Every week, every month, every 6 months, whatever it is, whatever suits you. But to actually look at yourself in the mirror and see who you're becoming, but realize that perhaps that isn't who you want to be. And if it's unhealthy things that are defining you, then this really is terrible. You know, you have to stop this and realize, hang on a minute, the more I accept myself being this person, the more I'm going to be this person, and it will never end until it's perhaps too late. So this is what I wanted to talk about in this video: identification. Don't let your mind take you down an easy path of identifying as someone who's doing things that you shouldn't do. Start to turn it around. Think about who you really are, who you really want to be, and how you want to be perceived, how you want your future self to feel about how you are now. So when you look back 10 years, right now you can look back 10 years and think, oh, what kind of a person was I was? What kind of a person was I? You think, was I good? Was I bad? Was I doing the best I could? You think, oh, I could have done a little better. Well, now's your chance to think, well, hang on a minute. In another 10 years, I might look back. In 6 months, I might look back. So now's the time to act. Now's the time to be mindful of who you're becoming and either continue because it's looking good or stop and go back to your roots, ground yourself, and realize, hang on a minute, my morals, my values, my goals, this is the groundworks. This is where I was. So get back to the drawing board and be this person with these goals, these morals, these values when it comes to dieting, drinking, smoking, drugs, the way you speak to people, the way you let people speak to you. Get back to that. Get rid of all that excess anxiety and stress. You know, there's all sorts of ways you can find out through my videos to get through all of these things. But get back to basics, who you originally are. Get rid of all the extra stuff, and then be that person and stand strong and strengthen your boundaries and strengthen your almost like shields to stop anything influencing you, to push you to become someone that you don't want to be. Because it's so easy in life to meet new friends and all of a sudden you're off with them doing their things. But in reality, you should be able to, if you're mindful enough, be able to hang around with anyone, but still be you. Be strong enough to be you. So you can go out one night where people are drinking all night and you don't want to. But instead of just joining the crowd, you're you, and you don't do that. So you just won't. And you get a lot of people that will say, well, how can you do that? But you don't do that, so it's not you. It's easy because I'm me, and I don't do that, you know, and I'm not easily led. I'm not going to be blown around like a feather. So in this video, I just wanted to sort of give you a chance to think about that. And if you need to, and we all do, I think, is to check yourself, look in the mirror, and remind yourself. And you can even speak to your partner or your best friend or your family and ask them, you know, how much have I changed, and is it for the good, is it for the bad? Something interesting while I'm talking about it is when you're in a relationship, let's say you get with someone when you're 20, by the time you're 30, you're both different people than what you were when you were 20. And then again, between 20 and 30. So with relationships, it's a really good idea to sort of check in with each other constantly to make sure you're growing in the right direction if that's what you want to do, so that you don't get to drift apart. But it's the same when you're by yourself. You veer off the direction, and we all grow older, we all get wiser, and sometimes not. But we're all in directions, and sometimes it's good just to check yourself and make sure if you're going off, then you pull yourself back. You're going off, you pull yourself back, because this is normal. But if you've got good goals, good values, good strengths, then this is what you need to focus on. So don't identify as something that you don't want to be in the future, because if you do identify as this thing, then you have no choice, because you're basically expecting it and you're believing it consciously and subconsciously. So that's what this video is about. Checking yourself and being the real best version of you. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please share it, subscribe if you haven't already, and stick some comments in below about what you think about this topic. I'll be very interested to find out. As you can hear, just at the end of the video, Bella and Alfred and Messi, the puppies, have gone mad. So enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks a lot for watching.